Alright, so we're just about done installing the latest version of 12.04 of Ubuntu LTS. Just wrapping up the last bits of here. It's probably just doing language packs or something. I should check by hitting this little triangle. Ubiquity, yeah, okay. So yeah, it's almost there. So you can see the nice pretty slideshow. Ooh. Ah. Impressive. Of course, if you felt like it, you could skip some of this, but let's just do full install. Okay, so once she's done, you'll just get this nice installation complete. You just want to hit restart now. It'll boot down, and I believe it'll automatically eject it, but we'll do it manually in case it doesn't virtually eject that ISO image. Yep, that's pretty much it. The install is pretty easy. It's pretty darn easy on my dad. Alright, there she goes. Yeah, she might flash around and change size every once in a while. Don't really need to worry about that. It's normal. Okay, so you see this guy here? It says please remove installation media. So what you can do is come up here where it says devices and CD here. And, well, looks like we can't remove it, but let's go ahead and just hit enter and see what happens. See if it'll actually boot into the OS or boot into the CD. Should just go right into the fresh OS. Alright, she's going up. So yeah, it looks like it just automatically ejected. Okay. Alright, so we have our fancy greeting screen. I'll go ahead and put in that password we set during the install prompt. And we'll be greeted with a lovely desktop. Alright, so now we're on our desktop. We'll go ahead and fire up the terminal. Since this is primarily aptitude that we'll be installing this through. Now, since you should be on the sudoers list as soon as you install, we'll go ahead and do a sudo su to make us root. This will just give us access to everything that we need. So, alright, so now you can see that we have our little hash mark now that we're acting as roots. I just windowsed it. Alright. So the first thing let's do is let's go ahead and do, because we're going to be installing this in Ubuntu, we're going to install it through apt. So do a git update, just to pull down, make sure we have the latest package list. Now we're going to install our web server Apache. Now for that we can just invoke apt-get install, and then it's really Apache 2, and throw a tac y in there just so we don't have to. Alright, it'll just automatically say yes to the prompt. So go ahead and go out and download and install it. Okay, so now that's installed. Did it again, see what happens. Oh, get bipolar doing this. Now to test to see if it works, we can go ahead and fire up Firefox here. And we'll just type in localhost. Localhoser. Let's try that again. And it works. So this just lets you know Apache is serving on, by default, port 80. So go ahead and close out of that puppy. And now let's go ahead and install MySQL. Now this one's a bit of a longer one, but it'll install basically the three things we need for MySQL. The actual MySQL server itself, the Apache auth module for MySQL, and the PHP module for MySQL. So we can go ahead and, once again, we'll be doing, have to get installed, do tech-wise so I don't get hit by any road bumps here. MySQL, tab-server, and space. And you can install multiple things at one time with one line, which is what I'm going to do here. And what was it? Lib Apache, I think. So lib Apache 2. Some modules, so mod, and then I think it's just auth. Then MySQL, if I remember correctly. And then for the last part is going to be PHP 5, since PHP 5 is what I'm going to be installing on here. You can do PHP 4. I know some people like the backwards compatibility, but I'm just doing latest as of today, so it's going to be PHP 5 MySQL, SQL, or SQL, depending on how you roll. So we'll go ahead and invoke that and let those three guys install. Alright, so now this is actually part of the MySQL server. It's going to actually prompt you for a password. This is the root user to the MySQL server. Use best practices. Try to keep it more than 14 characters, and don't recycle passwords. My suggestion would be using like a password manager like KeePass to keep track of these. But I'm going to put in a unique password for this that's different from my logon. And just repeat it. Alright, and I'll just keep installing the rest of it. Okay, so now that MySQL's installed, we'll go ahead and install PHP. And this is specifically PHP 5. So we need the actual program itself, we need the Apache mod, and we need probably encrypt. Let's go ahead and do that. I'm going to pull this sucker back up. PHP 5. So lib Apache dos. And there's going to be module. PHP 5. I think that's it there. And then, yeah, let's do encrypt. Okay, and just let that fly. Okay, so now that that's done, let's go ahead and, one more time, see? Let's go to the var dub folder. This should be, yeah, okay, index.html. So the var dub is where the actual web pages are hosted from by default in the Apache configuration. So let's go ahead and put, just to test, make sure PHP is working, we'll just use nano here. Or Nana, well, anyway, nano, let's do test.php. Then, you guys all know what this looks like. Good old PHP info. Okay, let's go ahead and save that. Now we should be able to go to Firefox one more time. If we do localhost again, it'll give us an Apache It Works page. It'll let us know Apache's up and running. So Apache's still running. Just going to add a slash, and then test.php. And what do you know? It works. If you see this page, you're good to go. If you see the code, it probably means there's a problem with PHP. Just make sure you typed it in right when you went to go install. Let's see. Now another thing that's really handy, especially if you're doing anything with a database you have, is phpMyAdmin. So we can go ahead and install that. And I'll show what that looks like. I'm sure a lot of you already know what it is, but we'll just crank through it. Okay, so you get this page here. It basically says what web server you're running. You know, Apache 2. We're not running Lighty. Just go ahead and you can use space to select and use tab to move around, and it'll just install the rest of it for us.